Okay, good morning, everybody. We're going to kick things off for day 2. Did everyone have a good day yesterday? Yeah. And did you all enjoy your various cooking? I know that I actually wasn't sure what we were going to be doing, and then when I realized I was cooking, I was like, oh my gosh. And look, I think I had Jeff, who cooked us an amazing pork dish. It was so great. So really glad. That was actually really fun. And because I'm not based in Mountain View, I'm just like the rest of you out here, I get really excited. I get to do all of the fun California googly stuff. So we have a great full day for you again today. Lots of talks, a couple activities later. And we're going to get things kicked off with Kim. So you want to come on up here, Kim. Kim is one of our top contributors. Kim is one of our top contributors on the AdWords community. She is going to give us into something easy.
Can you hear me?
No. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Maybe a little bit at the time.
A little bit better?
Yeah.
Okay. Good? All right. So I am Kim Klink, Clinkunbroomer. A lot of people just call me Kim Klink, though. I'll tell you a little bit about moi. Oh, I'm left-handed, so I'm using the wrong button on this already. Keep going. Okay. So I have been working in online advertising since 1999. That's 15 years, long time. Scotty D, you were what, 10? Yeah. Okay. So I started out in website design and organic search, and in about 2004, discovered AdWords and was just completely in love with it and switched and focused on paid search and never looked back. I am a Google AdWords Top Contributor and have been since 2006. I'm one of the first members of the team, and really value the relationship that I have with Google. It not only allows me to spend time with cool people like you who have a lot of good information and stuff here, and get to come out here to the Mountain View campus, but it's also allowed me to grow and learn a lot about paid search by experiencing a lot of different scenarios that I wouldn't have crossed unless I had a client that had that. So a lot of different opportunities through working community. So it's not just about answering people's questions to help me grow as a paid search professional as well. I picked the topic of avoiding brand blunders here because I really feel it's important. I think as paid search professionals, sometimes we just think about where do we want our clients' ads to show up. And sometimes we forget that we want to pay attention to where we don't want them to show up. And as responsible search professionals, it's really our duty to treat our clients' brands our own. So let's go on here. A brand. So what is a brand? A brand is a name, a term, a design, a symbol, or any other feature that identifies one seller's goods or services as distinct from those of other sellers. And this is the definition from the American Marketing Association. But it's a little bit more. A brand is distinct. It's a recognizable thing. And when it's aligned with certain content, it can lead people to mistakenly think that a brand may endorse a certain opinion or view. So it's important to make sure that you're thinking about what content your clients' brands are surrounded by. What happens when your client's brand is surrounded by content that's not in alignment with their values is your client's brand can get a black eye. And it can be more than just kind of a, reputation tarnishing. It can be a financially damaging for a brand as well. And for the agency too. I mean, if you screw up on a client's behalf, you can get fired. If you screw up too bad and your client has to do damage control, it can cost them financially. So it's really important to be responsible. What are blunders? Blunders are when a brand is put in a compromising, it happens through bad placement, bad messaging, bad timing, or a combination of the three, but it easily can happen. The question becomes, can we avoid brand blunders? And the answer is not always. I mean, we can try to be as proactive as we can, but it's not easy to anticipate every little scenario that your client's brands may get thrown into. So we need to be prepared to be active when we can and be reactive when we identify where our clients' brands are showing up in a poor situation. So we can segue a little bit into AdWords and brand blunders. AdWords is a very powerful platform. We all know that. We use it every day. It's like a Swiss Army knife of platforms. We can put our clients' messaging in front of the right audience through a variety of search networks at the time. We can deliver just the right time we want. We can engage with people everywhere. I mean, through all the different devices. They could be at the store, they could be in the office, they could be on the toilet. It doesn't matter. You can engage with people anywhere they are online through a variety of devices. And we have formats that we can go after people with, from video to text. So it is a powerful platform, indeed. But with great power comes great responsibility, right? We have this amazing platform. It does so many different things, so it leaves the door open for mistakes to happen. So we need to be careful. And how do we do that? I mean, what can we do as professionals to kind of control that? We can dial it in. We have exclusion options like category, website, topics, placements. We can use negative keywords to prevent our ads from showing up under certain search queries or from being aligned with certain contextual content. And we have tools like frequency capping, so we can prevent our clients' ads from being overserved when we're using our marketing. So we're going to get into stuff here. So we're going to do some brand blunder examples and talk about what happened, how did this happen, and what would we do to prevent this from happening again in the future. So the first example here is from a search query report that we pulled out of a client's account. And the search, the keyword is vaccination storage in a broad match, and the search term that triggered the ad was not what we were expecting at all. I would want anyone to guess what it is, but I don't want you to yell it out because it would be inappropriate. See if we can get this to we're in presentation mode here.
That's just gonna fade out, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Thanks, Kathleen. So that's the search term, and use your imagination. I think you guys can tell what that is. Is it relevant? It is. It's a broad match keyword, and vaccination is relevant to shot, and storage is relevant to containers. And in a broad match environment, this is what the client's ads serve up for. So it's a horrible situation to put a client's brand in. But worse than that, they paid for this too. So that is also just a double whammy. The next goal we have here is kind of fun. This is a display network example where Meta Health Bar's ad is showing up on fitnessmagazine.com. So if you were looking at your placement reports on a top level and you see fitness.com, you guys would be like high-fiving in the office and be like, this is a kick-ass placement, right? But if you scratch below the surface and look into the details of your placement reports, you would see that they're showing up on a page about sex positions that double as exercise. And I don't think that's really where they would probably want to show up if they had a choice to make. So the question is how do we fix this? What would we do to prevent this from happening again in the future? That would be maybe some negative keywords. We could exclude the URL by digging into our placement report. But as you can see, this is page 9 of we don't know. We know there's at least 8 pages of this kind of content. So we could also exclude the entire directory and just kill this, including fitnessmagazine.com through the /sex directory and kill that off. So important to kind of dig deep and don't just look at the surface of your reporting and assume that everything looks good, because in this case it was a disaster. So here's an example. Here. Here's an example of where we have the display network placement details report, and when you dig below the surface, you start to see that if you look at the details, you'll start to see you have the URL placements, the individual URLs where they're coming up, and you can identify that where you see YouTube in these different examples, what the URLs are that are underneath there that are just causing those ads to go up. There's an example. Getting granular. So there's times where you want to target an entire topic, right? but there's cases where subcategory may not be a good place. So in this case, you might have a client that wants to show up on a new category, but they don't want to show up on political sites underneath that because they don't want to align themselves with certain political or maybe religious views. This is something you'd want to talk to your clients about and find out what their feelings are about aligning themselves with this. So you have the ability to exclude. This takes work. You have to take your time and dig through these categories to make sure that there aren't subtopics that are not a good fit. Oh, this one was good. So yeah, look at that creepy guy. So here's an example of remarketing gone wrong. Remarketing is going to hack your browsers, your website visitors' browsers, and they're going to basically tow your clients' ads around with them where they go online. You don't have control over where they're going to go. You have no idea where they're going to go. This is a case where I went to Norton's website and then I went off looking for trouble, and it took me like 2 minutes to find it. So, and the photo sharing site, these people are not wearing clothes. There's a creepy guy in the background, and there's an ad right at the top. And I doubt if like the chief marketing officer at Norton Antivirus saw this, that he'd be much too pleased to see it. So how would we prevent this from happening? We can use negative keywords. We can exclude different topics and different interests, right? But there's another really easy proactive way to kind of take care of this stuff so it never would happen in the first place. Would be by tackling subcategory exclusions. So as you can see, there's a variety of different exclusion options here. I think it's probably pretty safe to assume that most of us don't want our clients' ads showing up on sexually suggestive content, profanity, rough language, live streaming video could be a major disaster. And you can also see here that there is a photo sharing option that you can disable. So this is one of the things, like when we're setting up a campaign for someone on the display network or remarketing, it's a no-brainer to come and just exclude these categories. You're going to save yourself a lot of time. You're going to protect your client's brand, and you're going to protect yourself as an agency as well. Don't stalk. Don't stalk. This is not necessarily a brand blunder. Okay, I mean, you can't really call it that, but it's annoying, and your clients do not want you to annoy their target audience. Frequency capping is a very easy thing to set up. You can control the number of impressions that are served by campaigns, ad groups, down to I think an ad level at this point. So there's no reason that we have to serve you stalk our clients or our clients' target audience. They don't want you to do that. And YouTube. YouTube is not immune to blunders. I love the caption, but there's nothing like a sinking ship to get you in the mood for a cruise. And the example here from the Sports Authority is again, went looking for trouble, and it wasn't too hard to find. I went looking for sites about drugs. So this is a 20-minute video that details how to deal drugs. And the Sports Authority, banners on there. I was pretty surprised. And this was the tame part of the video. There was much worse stuff in this video. It was pretty bad. I doubt Sports Authority really wants their content aligned with this kind of, or their ads aligned with this kind of content, I should say. And our last example, Google Plus promoted posts. So these are kind of the new kids on the block, right? You have the ability to disable or enable comments on Google Plus promoted posts. So you need to talk to your clients and find out who's going to be at the wheel, manning the comments and moderating them. It's important because it could be very damaging to have your client's social channel, which is basically these ads that you're taking out there, have any kind of malicious or nasty kind of content posted in their comments. Went this pretty fast, but we'll wrap it up. So really the wrap up and the key takeaways are you need to talk about their brand. Do they want it aligned with certain kind of content? Do they not want it aligned with certain kind of content? We need to be proactive. We have a lot of tools at our fingertips that allow us to just kind of tackle these issues before they happen. So there's really no reason to be negligent when you're managing accounts. And we have a lot of transparency. We can review data that comes out of our clients' accounts, and we can react accordingly. It's important to not fall asleep at the wheel when you're managing adverse accounts. And really, just to put a nail in it, as agencies, we need to treat our clients' brands like they're our own. It is really important not just to think about where these ads should appear, but really where they shouldn't do is just as important. I think that half the battle is understanding that this can happen very easily in no time at all to find these examples, half the battle is understanding. The other half is digging in and managing and being proactive and reactive when you're managing your clients' accounts. Like Jack, I'm going to be smart and not take questions. I don't trust this crowd. However, if anybody has questions for me, I would be happy to answer them. Just meet up with me. Thank you, guys.